Welcome to World Mission Topics, Lesson 5. I do not own the rights to this music. Today's topic is Receiving the Fruit of the Promised Land. The lesson text is coming out of Exodus chapter 16, verses 14 through 21, Joshua chapter 1, verses 10 and 11, Joshua chapter 5, verses 10 through 12. The memory verse. And the manna ceased on the morrow after they had eaten of the old corn of the land. Neither had the children of Israel manna any more, but they did eat of the fruit of the land of Canaan that year. And that's Joshua chapter 5, verse 12. The key terms for today's lesson: manna, provision, victuals. Manna, the substance miraculously supplied as food to the Israelites in the wilderness. Provision, the action of providing or supplying something for use. Victuals, food or provisions. Suggested emphasis: the deprivation the Israelites suffered in their wilderness experience gave rise to one of their greatest miracles. In a region where there was minimal plant life and few animals, the entire nation was sustained for decades. This was because, like dew materializing from the atmosphere, manna appeared on the ground every morning. Manna was God's supernatural provision that came down from heaven just in the nick of time every single day for 40 years. It was a daily, sufficient, constant supply of God's provision, and it told every day of His limitless power and perfect faithfulness. But manna was not intended to keep falling perpetually. The miracle of manna was a down payment of the plenty that awaited them in the land flowing with milk and honey. As Moses seemed to write with prophetic insight, and the children of Israel did eat manna 40 years until they came to a land inhabited. They did eat manna until they came unto the borders of the land of Canaan, found in Exodus chapter 16, verse 35. In fact, manna fell until the Israelites were encamped at Gilgal, in Joshua chapter 5, verse 12. But the point is that even Moses understood that manna would cease once they had access to the fruit of the promised land. There would no longer be any need for it. Emphasis 1. Prepare provisions for yourselves. Joshua 2 was seemingly warned that the miraculous provision would come to an end. When Joshua was readying the people to cross over into Canaan, he reached out to the officers, by which the scriptures almost certainly mean the scribes and religious teachers. Joshua instructed them to tell the people, "Prepare provisions for yourselves, for within 3 days you will cross over this Jordan to go in to possess the land which the Lord your God is giving you to possess." And that's Joshua chapter 1, verse 11. We know they could not have stockpiled manna to fulfill this command, because manna would not last for more than a day. Found in Exodus chapter 16, verse 20. We presume these victuals would have come from the spoil they had taken in conquering the nations east of the Jordan, or from the small amount of trade they were allowed with the Edomites, found in Deuteronomy chapter 2, verse 6. Emphasis 2. Thinking a new way about sustenance. Consciously providing for their own sustenance represents a major shift in their thinking. Now, the people who had been fed by the hand of God for 40 years were transitioning into living off the land. This particular exercise of preparing victuals could be seen as a bridge over into self-reliance. Not that the Israelites were ever to lose the concept that the Lord is the founder of the feast. He would always remain in their minds as the ultimate source of their provision. But they would once again operate in the traditional methods of hunting and gathering, planting and harvesting. As the psalmist sang, they all depend on you to give them food as they need it. When you supply it, they gather it. You open your hand to feed them, and they are richly satisfied. And that's Psalms 104, verses 27 and 28. Emphasis 3. All provision is providential. For us, the implication of this episode is that we should remain sensitive to God's faithful provision for us in the pursuit of the abundant life. The Lord may sometimes provide supernatural supply for our exceptional needs, but even our natural and normal provision is by His providence. So we must beware of thinking that God is only in the earthquake, wind, and fire, of thinking manna, but not grain, is God's food. Most of God's gifts to His people are not dazzling and gaudy, but wrapped in simple brown paper. Quiet provisions of safety on the highway, health of children, picking up a paycheck, supper with the family, all in an ordinary day's work for our gods. Missions, application questions. Number 1. How could the Israelites have gathered victuals while they were living in the wilderness? Number 2. What new way of thinking about provision would the people need living in Canaan? Number 3. How does God demonstrate His faithful provision to us today? World Missions Prayer Points. Let us pray to remember that it is God who supplies our daily sustenance. Let us pray that we may receive both natural and spiritual nutrition. The end. God bless you and thank you for joining me today.